Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back to your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. And let's not waste any time. Let's just dive into this tweet here from ISO 20022. Let's do it. And we do see Bank of International Settlements cites Ripple versus Swift while discussing combining digital currencies with Swift messaging system for payments. Now, if you did watch my Q&T video from yesterday, you are probably all aware of this tweet and this document. I'm including this document in this video because I do think that it has some sort of weight within the overall idea of Swift utilizing DLT with 11,000 plus financial institutions. So we do see here, under 4.3 new technologies within this PDF file, while market acceptance of new infrastructure based on new technologies is currently limited, integrating innovative technology could overcome system problems. As an example of a new foundational infrastructure, some DLT infrastructures combine a messaging system competing directly with Swift with digital currency and blockchain technology in retail payments. Such a design can transfer transaction information and settle payments simultaneously and immediately after payment is initiated from the sender. The system can provide more information transparency regarding each node's liquidity status and currency exchange rate, 102. And if you guys look down here, 102 is citing Ripple versus Swift, transforming cross-border remittance using blockchain technology. And we do see the rest of this. Incumbent financial institutions are also adopting blockchain technology to ensure faster and more secure remittances, although mostly still at piloting and testing stages. I wonder when they go live. That's going to change a lot of things, but overall, when we take a look at this, yes, I do believe that the technology that we have here with DLT technology, specifically like with XRP and with what RippleNet's trying to do, this is going to be much larger than what Swift can ever do. And it's going to be a game changer. And also, every nation will want to utilize this because of the decentralized manner behind XRP. Remember, XRP will be utilized globally due to the decentralization aspect to it. Which is why we are seeing a major war happening within the US dollar standard. A lot of nations don't want to utilize the US dollar anymore because of the control aspect to the US. Now, also, over here, I've seen something get posted about this. So from the same individual, ISO 20022, let's do it. We do see ISO 20022 MX messages include Crypto Swift Transaction Manager API enabled for DLT, meaning we could possibly see DLT technology utilized within the Swift transaction mechanism. This is very interesting, and this also does happen with ISO 20022. Now, with ISO 20022, a lot of people are kind of getting a little bit ahead of the game. So this is going to change the way that data is provided through messaging formats, as well as the quality of payments. For example, Ripple does have this ISO 20022 PDF file. We do see shaping the future of cross-border payments. And we do see down here, they do talk about the standard, how it's already adopted in 70 countries. It is estimated that 87% of global financial transactions will be supported by ISO 20022 by 2023. And then here we have, through RippleNet and its ISO 20022 membership, customers are able to help define the future direction of cross-border payments, access a network of global financial institutions governed by rules and functional standards, leverage software to enable fast, transparent, and seamless cross-border payments, connect to one standardized API for all counterparty connections, and simplify implementation and reduce operational overhead. Now, a lot of people are confused in the fact that like ISO 20022 is going to allow these tokens to pump astronomically. No, that's not the case. This is changing the way we have a data standard for modern payments and changing the messaging format itself. It's actually going to open the system. It's going to allow for the system to have more rich data. You can see a lot more transparent payments happening as well. It's really going to change the overall efficiency of payments in terms of the data and messaging standards. But we could also see digitization take place through ISO 20022, which I've talked about many, many times. I think that DLT will be realized in through the evolution of data and messaging and things like that. Now, also over here on the subject of ISO 20022, we are starting to see a radical shift. I've been saying this for a while now. FSB sets out priority actions for cross-border payment roadmap reports. It includes finalizing ISO 20022 harmonization requirements and promoting their real-world implementation. So we are seeing payments, more so cross-border payments and things like that, being discussed quite a bit. And I've said this time and time again that cross-border payments will become a major focus point. They've been a focus point, in my opinion, and honestly on this channel for well over 2 years now. Why? Because it's a huge opportunity, a $156 trillion opportunity. That is nothing to write off. So as we do see the evolution of data and messaging, we are also going to see the evolution of cross-border payments themselves. We are starting to see a radical shift towards the evolution of this market, and I do think that this is huge for XRP as it is the main focus point. We also do see over here interesting stuff. This is from Anderson. He's quoting Metatron over on Twitter, and we do see it is based on the RLN concept. Like, I think it's a concept that can work on most platforms. Settle and R3 have separate sandboxes for this concept. It is supposed to streamline digital asset flow from top to bottom in a jurisdiction. And here we have financial messaging has largely been solved through structured ISO 2022 messages flowing at the speed of light. The missing piece of the puzzle is a global solution for settlement. And we do see down here, it is very aggressive towards cryptos that want to replace currencies. Also, RLNs can be global, but of course, there are governance issues and the world won't agree on one ledger. Think of it as an FMI. And here we have those discussions here in terms of like unregulated crypto assets or unregulated digital money, if you will. And then over here, we also do see the idea of an FMI, which would be a financial market infrastructure. But down here, we do see from Anderson, he's responding and he's saying, I find this part very interesting. Common bridge asset. That is not solved by Corda alone. And here we have having a regulated 24/7 cash ecosystem with a common bridge asset that supports peer-to-peer interactions is foundational to improving settlement efficiency of digital assets and enhancing market liquidity. And yeah, this is going to be pretty interesting. And a lot of people are looking at CBDCs as well. Like, for an example, from my understanding, what they mean is every partition is backed by central bank liabilities. For an example, here you guys have the RLN transaction flows. You can see that most of this is with CBDCs. And it's really just talking about like wrap CBDCs within this and the central bank partition at the center point. But we do see having atomic swaps between different wholesale CBDCs should be different from a common bridge asset, in my opinion. And yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of things here. There's going to be a major reliance on bridges and liquidity. Bridges and liquidity are the focus point. A lot of people bring up like R3 Corda. They think that, like, for an example, XRP doesn't even, it's not even necessary at all. A lot of these private blockchain networks like R3 Corda, which is more of like a private blockchain or a private DLT, if you will. The problem with them is that they don't have that bridge asset aspect to it. Remember, Swift tried to do the same thing that Ripple has solved, but they had to have a public decentralized asset. It couldn't be in their control. That's what Ripple has solved. Ripple has solved something that is a generational opportunity. It's a huge opportunity within payments. Now, we also do see over here, India path-breaking digital payment platform UPI. And here we have a video. Listen closely to this video, and I want to talk about what just recently happened with India.
Over the past few years, we have created a highly secure, highly trusted, and highly efficient public digital infrastructure. Our digital payments ecosystem has been developed as a free public good. This has radically transformed governance, financial inclusion, and ease of living in India. As you are meeting in Bangalore, the technology capital of India, you will have first-hand experience of how Indian consumers have embraced digital payments. In fact, during our G20 presidency, we have created a new system. This allows our G20 guests to use India's path-breaking digital payment platform, UPI. As you make use of it and experience its ease of use, you will understand why Indian consumers have adopted it so willingly. Examples like UPI can be templates for many other countries too. We would be happy to share our experience with the world. And the G20 can be a vehicle for this. Excellencies, I once again thank you all for your participation in this important meeting and wish you all the best for very productive and successful discussions. Thank you.
And this has been one of the biggest ones that we've been watching with what India is doing with their payment system. For an example, this is like an older article, as you guys do see, from 801 underscore XRP. So here we have Ripple in talks with NPCI banks for AC transfers globally. If you guys do want to read into this, you guys are more than welcome to. There's quite a bit of discussions here around what India was doing with the Ripple network and the plans going forward. You guys are more than welcome to read this. You guys can pause the video if you want. But going forward, what I really want to focus on is what just recently happened with India. So India ties up with Singapore for its first time real-time overseas payments link. Check this out. So India ties up with Singapore for its first real-time overseas payments link. This happened back in February 21st, sorry. And if we listen closely to this video, listen closely to what is actually happening throughout this entire
People
process.
in Singapore and India can now send real-time payments to one another. The tie-up between PayNow and Indian counterpart Unified Payments Interface is part of wide efforts to enhance the infrastructure for cross-border payments. The launch was officiated by both countries' prime ministers. Michelle Teo tells us more.
Successfully sent
cheaper, faster and safer. That's how transactions will be under the linkage between PayNow and UPI. And for a start, it'll benefit migrant workers, professionals, students and their families.
This option is better for me because after I sending money monthly basis, they go from money take time of 2 or 3 days. But this one is instant based.
In every similar emergency situations, it will be very good for their emergency time.
Everybody is working here. They cannot go there and stand in a queue or that the process and all. If phone means anytime we can change.
The core benefit is cost effectiveness. If you look at the total cost of transactions, whether it's fixed costs and FX, I think the objective is to create the value, which is basically, again, cost effectiveness, real time and secure.
However, the feature will be made available via a phased approach. For now, selected customers of DBS Bank and fintech company Liquid Group can transfer up to 500 Singapore dollars a day. It will then be extended by the end of March to all customers. The transaction amount will also be raised to 1,000 Singapore dollars a day. 6 banks in India are now under the scheme to send and receive funds. Cross-border retail payments and remittances between India and Singapore currently amount to over 1.3 billion Singapore dollars annually. And Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong says the linkage will contribute to facilitating trade, as well as people-to-people links between both countries. That's as more users and use cases are progressively added.
I hope this strong partnership between Singapore and India will continue to spawn innovative technology solutions and create more cross-border opportunities for our digital economies.
Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, where does XRP come into play with any of this? It's very simple, right? When you look at what they were doing with NPCI, all of this is how the UPI system works. And also, most of Ripple partners, I shouldn't say most of, some of Ripple partners, sorry, are utilizing UPI already. For an example, D-Money was connecting to India's UPI via Ripple partner IndusInd. This goes back to like March of 2022. But then there was also another announcement with UPI with Al Ansari Exchange in the UAE. They signed with the MEXC to offer real-time remittance services into India's UPI. So a lot of this, what we are seeing is Ripple partnerships and Ripple exposure to their partners and their users within the UPI system. Also, the UPI system itself works just like the MEXC. The MEXC, the way that it works is it facilitates account-to-account transfers globally without having to be part of any payment network. That's exactly how this works, and that's exactly how the UPI system works as well. So this is actually a pretty big game changer. And do I believe that XRP is utilized within this? Do I believe that, you know, this is some sort of exposure to Ripple? I do believe so. I really do believe so. That's maybe me speculating, but we are seeing the evolution of payments through almost every single nation out there. And I do think that this is huge. And also, by the way, India just recently, back on the 25th, published this technical paper on regulating crypto. In fact, India asked IMF and also the FSB to prepare technical paper on regulating crypto, most likely due to the fact that they want to utilize it. They want to utilize crypto assets within their payment approach. It's going to be something very interesting to see this come into discussion. I don't know what the IMF is going to do, because recently we just seen the IMF warn about crypto assets and actually warn about systemic risk and all that kind of stuff. But we do see that their overall benefits of crypto assets include cheaper and faster cross-border payments, more integrated financial markets, and increased financial inclusion, which are mainly the ones that we do see discussed with Ripple's spotlight on crypto use cases. So with all of that in mind, I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So that you all have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this before. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.